we are on point, paragraph number या point number जो भी बोलो 12 on page 35 of chapter 2.
Okay.
And last दो paragraph जो हमने पढ़े थे 10 और 11, उसके अंदर जो key point था was about widening our circle of friends continually. That was one key message that we all said we will carry it forward. And चलो आते सब तो बोलते ना कि कितना एफर्ट किया इसमें. चल पढ़.
So from 12th I have to read, right?
Right.
Okay. In short, a seeker after truth should avoid the bylane of adharma, unrighteousness, and paradharma, the dharma which is not his own, and take to the natural and straight path of swadharma, and never waver from it, bearing in mind that the body is transient. It should be used for the sake of performance of swadharma and should be given up for sake of swadharma when the need arises. Remaining even aware of the external and all-pervading nature of self, the distinction between I and others should be removed from the mind. The Lord has expounded these three principles of life. One who follows them would undoubtedly have some day or the other the experience of Nardeha, Cheni, Sadhane, Sachidanand, Padavi, Gene, using the human body as an Using the human body as an instrument, one can reach the exalted state of Satchit Ananda.
So, जो पहले जो बातें कही है इन्होंने उनको समराइज किया है अंडर 3 points. Seeker after truth must follow swadharma, और स्वधर्म को 2 negation से उन्होंने यहाँ पर बताया है. One is not something that looks like dharma, and definitely not which is not your dharma. So swadharma is to be performed. And second point is that the body must be used for performing swadharma and should be given up only for performing swadharma. Yani, there's what he is probably also referring to is like, उपवास वगैरह भी जो करते हैं लोग, they are abusing the body. But if the purpose is swadharma, then it is fine. But otherwise body should be taken care of. आगे भी पहले उन्होंने body को pampering करने की बात कही थी, उसके साथ में he had put this as a tagline. Not to unnecessarily listen to the body, but listen to the body, take care of it because it is of use to you. And third point, remaining ever aware of the external and all-pervading nature of the self. External कैसे हुआ? Eternal, I'm reading wrong. Eternal and all-pervading nature of the self, the distinction between I and others should be removed from the mind. This was the point we discussed last time. और उसके लिए उन्होंने जो तरीका बताया है वो है widen your circle of friends continually. ये जो थर्ड पॉइंट है उसके लिए उन्होंने ये एक तरीका बताया है. उनका कहना है कि ठीक है मी माइन करते हैं हम, तो माइन वाले लोगों को बढ़ाओ ना, include more and more people as your own. So the way out is increasing your circle of friends. One who follows them would undoubtedly have some day or the other the experience of using the human body as an instrument and to reach the exalted Satchit Anand. I think that completes this section, section 7 of the chapter 2.
Yeah.
ठीक है, चले आगे या तेरे को कुछ बोलना है?
Yes.
समझा उसमें?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Very clear. बहुत अच्छा summarize किया है.
Yeah.
This book is so beautifully arranged. The points are in हर जगह में देखती हूँ. In fact, I have gone up to reading the 13th chapter. I am reading now on my own, जो शुरू किया था वहाँ से. And you know, that reading is of its own kind. वो एक अलग ही होता है प्रभाव. लेकिन every time I want to stop and see this kind of summary, इतना systematically points को divide किया है, इतना अच्छे से arrange किया कि mind में बैठता ही जाता है. Very nice summary. ठीक है, पढ़.
The way to harmonize the two principles, renunciation of the fruit of action. The Lord has no doubt enunciated the principles of life, but this in itself does not serve the purpose. These principles were already there in Upanishad and Smritis. To restate them is not the Gita's unique contribution. That lies in its explaining how these principles are to be translated into practice. It is in solving this great problem that the ingenuity and the uniqueness of Gita lie.
एक सेकंड, मेरा फोन बज रहा
Yoga,
है.
yeah.
Just some ad call. Carry on. So uniqueness of
Just a
Gita
minute.
is in practice of the already known facts from Upanishad. ठीक है.
One.
Yeah.
Yoga means nothing but the art of translating the principle of life into practice. The word Sankhya means principle or science, while yoga means the art of translating it into practice. Jnanadeva saying, Yogyan
जाने
sadhi
देना, मराठी वाला मत
जीवन.
पढ़.
Okay. The yogis have mastered the art of living. Proclaims this as an experiential fact. Gita includes both Sankhya and Yoga, the science and art respectively, and this has made her complete and perfect. When science and art unite, the beauty of life blossoms into its fullness. Science by itself remains on an abstract level. One may know the theory of music quite well, but many splendored beauty of Nad Brahma, the supreme truth revealed in the sound of music, will be realized only when one has mastered the art of singing. That is why the Lord has taught not only the principles, but also the art of applying them to life. What then is this art? The art of practicing Swadharma, while realizing that body is of little worth and that the self is imperishable and indivisible.
Indivisible. That is why the Lord has taught, not only the principles, but also the art of applying it. Okay. Bon.
Yeah. Should I read further or should we discuss it?
इसका key summary of this paragraph is to say that पहले वाले में जो कहा उसको elaborate किया है कि why this Gita is needed. पहले में कहा कि this is the practice of the principles stated earlier in Upanishad, and in the practice what is important is that the science and the art unite, and science and the art की unification के लिए, that is why the Lord has taught not only the principles क्योंकि यहाँ पर सांख्य का भी मेंशन है, तो वो प्रिंसिपल्स हैं, बट ऑल्सो द आर्ट ऑफ अप्लाइंग देम. So the science and art. Science is the Sankhya and the art is the yoga. ठीक है. And हाँ, गीता का आर्ट है स्वधर्म. स्वधर्म का मतलब है, स्वधर्म has to be done while realizing that the body is of little worth and the self is imperishable and indivisible. Oof. तो स्वधर्म करते हुए ये बात बिल्कुल ध्यान में रखनी है कि हम बॉडी से अटैच ना हो जाए, क्योंकि बॉडी बहुत काम आती है स्वधर्म करने में. तो ऐसा हो जाता है ना कि जो हमारे को स्वधर्म करने के लिए इतना अधिक उपयोगी है, तो वी गेट अटैच टू इट. तो बार बार जहां कहीं स्वधर्म की बात कह रहे हैं विनोबा जी, साथ में ये बात भी ऐड करते हैं. चलो ठीक है, याद रखेंगे. Anything that you want to say?
So, but they have put a question mark at the end, indivisible. So what does that indicate? Why is put a question mark? The line that we just read.
हाँ. ओ अच्छा, हाँ, उधर पास लास्ट में क्वेश्चन मार्क क्यों लगा है ऐसा? Because he has stated it as a question. What then is the art? The art of practicing Swadharma while realizing that the body is of the little worth and that the self is imperishable and indivisible. ये क्वेश्चन करके पूछा है कि ये जो बात है जो उन्होंने हमेशा कहते रहे हैं, तो उसके अंदर what then is this art of practicing Swadharma, जिसका वो लोग वो अभी आंसर देने वाले हैं.
Okay.
So that's why he has put it in a question form there. But that is the fact that he is going to elaborate now. कि ये स्वधर्म ऐसे कैसे प्रैक्टिस किया जाए ताकि ये प्रिंसिपल रियलाइज हो. कौन सा प्रिंसिपल? That body is perishable, whereas self is imperishable and indivisible. ऐसा. तो स्वधर्म का इस प्रिंसिपल से क्या लेना देना है? He has raised that as a question which he will answer now.
Okay. I will read further.
Yeah.
Behind a man's action, there are generally two types of attitudes. One of them is, if I do something, I shall definitely enjoy the fruit of my actions. I am entitled to it. The second attitude is, I shall not act at all if I am not going to enjoy the fruit of my action. The Gita prescribes an altogether different attitude. It says you must, of course, act, but do not have any claim over fruits of your actions. One who acts is certainly entitled to enjoy the fruit of one's action, but one should voluntarily give up that right. Rajas says, I shall act only if I am going to enjoy the fruit of my action. Tamas says, if I am not going to enjoy the fruit, I shall not act at all. These attitudes are like two sides of the same coin. There is nothing to choose between the two. One should go beyond both of them and adopt pure sattva. One should act and then relinquish the fruit of actions and act without any claim over them. The desire for the fruit should never be there, either before or after the action.
So dharma is this. No desire for fruit. और सटली सात्विक राजसिक तामसिक कर्म भी बता दिया. और सत्व रजस बोला देखना. हाँ तो क्या कह रही?
Because there is no progress, no, whether rajas option is taken or tamas, he will remain there and there only.
चाहे राजसिक हो या तामसिक कर्म हो, तुम रहोगे वहीं के वहीं. करेक्ट. सत्व करोगे तो ही आगे बढ़ोगे. One should
so this is karma yoga, right?
Huh?
Yeah. This is karma yoga practice, right?
Yes, obviously. सात्विक कर्म करोगे तो ही कर्म योग होगा, ऐसा कहा. ऐसा ही है इसका अल्टीमेट. चलो ठीक है, आगे पढ़ते हैं.
The Gita, while asking us not to have any desire for the fruit of action, insists that the work must, however, be perfect. The work of a desireless doer can rightfully be expected to be better than that of one driven by desire for the fruit. The reason is that because of attachment to the fruit, the latter is bound to waste at least some time and energy in daydreaming about it. On the other hand, every moment of desireless doer's life, and every bit of his energy would be spent in the work in hand. A river knows no respite, no respite. The wind takes no rest. The sun shines forever. Likewise, a desireless doer is ever engaged in unremitting service. Who else can then achieve perfection in work, if not he? Secondly, mental poise, the equanimity of mind, is a great quality, and the desireless doer has this quality in his own right. When equanimity of mind is combined with the skill of the hands, even the ordinary work of an artisan is bound to be better and more beautiful. Moreover, difference between the outlook of a desireless doer and one with attachment to desire is also conducive in making the former's work better. A man having an eye on securing the fruit looks at the work from a selfish point of view. In this view, the action as well as its fruit are exclusively his own. Therefore, he does not look upon any negligence in the work as a moral lapse. For him, it may at the most cause the output to be defective. But a desireless doer has a moral sense of duty towards his work. He is therefore extremely alert to avoid any shortcomings therein. Hence, his work is bound to be more flawless. Thus, from whatever angle one may see, Falatyaga, renunciation of fruit of action, proves to be a sound and effective principle. That is why it should be called a sort of yoga or art of living. But
How much
this
do
is
you think?
exactly, this is exactly opposite to what these days, motivational speakers and all
Ah,
they do. Like, especially you have to visualize, you have to, think of your end goal, your destination, where you want to
yes,
reach. And they rather induce us into a daydreaming that, how would you feel when you will achieve that? How happy will you feel? What all things will, get fulfilled when you do that? So this is exactly opposite to what
actually
these days
speaking,
people
yes.
are practicing.
And they are also right because we see results with that. If we don't have interest in what we are doing, we feel that we don't give enough full. So, a large majority of people who are Rajas dominant will be able to behave and do, and for them, perfection will be that only. What is said in the Gita is perfection for a sattvic person.
But according to this paragraph only, there won't be a perfection, means it won't be achieved only.
Correct.
With that kind of a mindset, that perfection won't be achieved at all.
करेक्ट. तामसिक के लिए परफेक्ट क्या होगा?
Won't do that, like
हाँ,
won't
मेरे
do
को
it only.
करना नहीं है और कोई आके ले लेता है, वो काम कर लेता है, तो वो बहुत खुश है, एकदम परफेक्ट, जैसा मैंने चाहा वो हो गया. ऐसे ही राजसिक के लिए परफेक्शन यही होगा कि हाँ, मुझे चाहिए था, मेरे को इसमें ये इंटरेस्ट था, उसके लिए मैंने उसको किया और परिणाम मिल गया, मैं खुश हूं, मैंने किया, तो उसके हिसाब से परफेक्ट ये हुआ. लेकिन भगवत गीता जो बता रहा है कि ये दोनों ही परफेक्शन नहीं है। क्यों? क्योंकि ये स्वधर्म नहीं है उनके। बिकॉज
हम्म,
सी, स्व का भी कॉन्सेप्ट सबका अलग अलग है ना। जिसके लिए काया ही सबसे बड़ी चीज है, बॉडी इज द हाईएस्ट, उसके लिए कि ये काम करता तो मैं थक जाता या मेरे को चोट लग जाती, तो मैंने अपने आप को बचा लिया, परफेक्ट काम किया ना। कि जो मैं हूं उसकी मैंने रक्षा की, स्वधर्म। रजस को चाहिए था कि मेरे पे है शक्ति, मैं इसको हासिल कर सकता हूं, तो उसके लिए यदि उसने अपने आप को खर्च किया और वो हासिल कर लिया, तो उसका भी तो उसके हिसाब से स्वधर्म हो गया ना।
but
क्योंकि
that is not the right Swadharma, right?
हाँ, लेकिन गीता में जो स्वधर्म की बात है वो स्व का अर्थ ही अलग है। यहाँ पर यह गलत धारणा है स्व के बारे में तामसिक और राजसिक लोगों को। और अभी ये तो रजस का जमाना ही है, ये समय ही रजस प्रधान चल रहा है, इसलिए ये मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर चलते हैं और वो आज के जमाने के हिसाब से सही कह रहे हैं। हम देखते भी तो है ना दुनिया में, जो उस ढंग से काम करते हैं वो पहुंचते भी हैं, लेकिन उसमें स्व का उनका जो डेफिनेशन है वो अलग है, इसलिए वो स्वधर्म शब्द यूज नहीं करते। वो उनके लिए सर्वोपरि क्या है, दैट गोल ऑफ हैविंग टू अचीव सो एंड सो सो एंड सो सो एंड सो। उनके गोल इस प्रकार के नहीं होते ना जो गीता का है। गीता का गोल क्या है कि शरीर नश्वर है, मैं जो हूँ,
Spiritual approach.
हाँ, तो
And there is the material.
तो जब तक तुम उसको बड़ा नहीं समझोगे, इनफैक्ट इस चैप्टर के बिगिनिंग में, चैप्टर के बिगिनिंग में नहीं है, 6th पॉइंट पे, पेज 29 पे है, देख। 3 cardinal principles have been enunciated in this second chapter. The Atma is deathless and indivisible. 2, the body is insignificant and transient. And 3, Swadharma must be followed. And आगे जाके उन्होंने कहा है कि unless and until principles are clear, our actions will not be. अब ये तीनों principle does not apply to the crowd to which these motivational speakers are motivating. Their motivation is different. Their motivation is to be the richest man in the world, or at least in their neighborhood, in their community. Their motivation is to have name and fame. So they are motivating in that manner. So Vinoba Bhave is motivational speaker for people like us. Because for us, if these 3 things motivate us, then those people ka method will not work for us. But if these 3 are not our motivation, then Vinoba Bhave and Gita will not work for us. So only in the light of these 3 principles can the rest of it be correctly understood. ये बहुत जरूरी है. You have to look at Gita from the lens which is made up of these 3 principles. बल्कि ऐसा देखो तो हर एक पैराग्राफ seems to be just repeating the same thing, but different aspects of the same thing. चारों तरफ से उस बात को समझाया है उन्होंने, हर तरीके से उस बात को घेरा है. अभी पिछला पैराग्राफ जो हमने पढ़ा, it talked about again एंड में आके वही बोला, relinquish the fruits of action. करेक्ट. यहाँ पर कह रहे हैं परफेक्ट एक्शन. और perfect action क्या है? What is the perfectness of the action? That it is meant for serving the spirit.
God.
That action which will take us towards these principles. That action which is our swadharma. Swadharma of the spirit. Of that jiva. But if that swadharma is of this loka, vyavharik loka, then that's not what Gita or Vinava Bhave is talking. वो ही मैं भी तू नहीं पूछती तो मैं भी वही प्रोवोक करने वाली थी कि it is so popular, so very popular. और आज के जमाने के अंदर यदि प्रोग्रेस करना है तो they are important. It depends on whether this has started dissuading you. यदि इन चीजों में हमारा जो भी इंटरेस्ट है, डिजायर है, वो सेटिस्फाई हो गया है, that we are not attracted by this rajas. But as long as that rajas has not kind of left us and we are not always able to be motivated only by the sattva, till then we have to do that. So it tells us how much of it attracts us. और ये मेरा खुद का अनुभव है कि there is need to do it sufficiently enough that you don't want to do it anymore. जैसे अब किसी को चिप्स बहुत पसंद है तो उसको सुबह शाम दोपहर रात चिप्स इतने खिलाओ कि वो बोले कि नहीं मेरे को चिप्स अभी नहीं चाहिए.
That is one kind of therapy also.
हाँ, नहीं यानी वो इतना अधिक उससे संतुष्ट हो जाए या यानी तंग आ जाए. हाँ बस. हाँ तो इन लोगों का यही होता है. A lot of them, they may continue to do the motivational speaking, but they themselves grow out of it. But the rest of the world is motivated only by that. अब तेरे को एक एग्जाम्पल देती हूँ. Dr. Jaydev himself would say, one single asana is more than enough. You can attain the highest doing just one sukhasana. There is no need for so many or other asanas. And still, he would teach the asanas, no? But that is enough for the one who is motivated to reach that highest. उसका फोकस वो हाईएस्ट है. लेकिन ये भी तो मालूम है ना कि हमारा अभी तक वो फोकस नहीं बना है. हम थोड़ी जानकारी रखते हैं, but we are not motivated by that. That kind of a highest steadiness and stillness of mind and withdrawal of senses does not motivate us. So for us to reach there, we need more than that. So then there are asana for the spine and asana for the limbs and asana for the stomach. And we need to attend to all of it separately. So it depends upon where we are, what is our goal. So that is needed at its own level. Having to go through it, when that starts deluding you, you realize that even having to reach the peak, I am not yet happy and satisfied. That is when you will pay attention to this swadharma. फिर स्व का जो definition है वो change होगा. Then you will start seeing the body as transient. Then you will start accepting, at least at the working thinking level, that yes, there is something that is me, the real me, the self, who is transient, who is not transient, who is indivisible and imperishable. तो ये हमारे अंदर जो गुण प्रधान है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. और इफ वी आर स्वेइंग, definitely, if we have not yet fully satisfied the tamas and the rajas and got dissuaded by that or disinterested in that, sattva rajas tamas to sequentially pradhan honge hi, that they will go on. But you will recognize that just now rajas बढ़ा हुआ है या tamas बढ़ा हुआ है, so you will do the needful to let it pass and rise up back to sattva. So when you continuously continue for majority of the time, take most of your decisions with sattva as dominant, then you will find that this becomes your motivation. But excellent, तूने ये रेस किया, मुझे बहुत मजा आया.
It immediately came, like when I was reading that time itself, this is exactly opposite to what is
Exactly. आना ही चाहिए. And we should question it. Unless and until we question ourselves, we will not be able to focus. So understand that that's not wrong. If we are at that level, we need to carry that activity out and come out of it so much that it does not, attract us anymore. We are able to leave it. And this should be at our kind of, as a benchmark, our forefront. तो इसलिए उन्होंने भी यही कहा है, विनोबा जी ने, कि जब तक यहाँ पर तुम्हारा ये प्रिंसिपल सेट नहीं हो जाते, तब तक तुम इधर उधर जाते रहोगे. वो अभी क्या वर्ड यूज किया था, बाय लेन्स ऑफ स्वधर्मा. हाउ स्वीटली ही पुट्स दैट. We'll keep going there. Or
Yeah,
we will try and do something that others are doing.
Yeah, we feel, as you said, no illusion that we are doing swadharma, but actually it is not swadharma.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe in that moment, just the realization that this is under the influence of rajas or this is under the influence of tamas. So that realization can also be considered as swadharma, right?
No, that realization will serve as an impetus for you to make swadharma your main means of your work. Is going to direct you towards swadharma. That is the basis on which you will understand your swadharma. क्योंकि स्वधर्म है, लेकिन हमें जानकारी कहाँ है स्वधर्म की. स्वधर्म को तो हम भूल के बैठे हैं, क्योंकि तमस और रजस प्रधान हो रहे हैं हम. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि उसको पूरी तरह से हम छोड़ सकते हैं, नहीं छोड़ सकते, क्योंकि तीनों गुण हमेशा साथ ही रहने वाले हैं. तो वो आएंगे और हर बार जो तू कह रही है वो हमें करना होगा. उनको पहचानना होगा कि इस समय मैं तामसिक हो रही हूँ या इस समय मैं राजसिक हो रही हूँ. तो उस समय जो मेरे डिसीजंस होंगे वो मेरे स्वधर्म वाले नहीं होंगे. तो forgive yourself for that. Allow that to go. क्योंकि यदि तमस प्रधान हुआ है, रजस प्रधान हुआ है, तो सत्व भी होगा. लेकिन इसलिए तो योगिक एक्टिविटीज कहते हैं हम, हेल्दी रूटीन्स जो कहते हैं योग में, they are to bring the sattva back in dominance. इसका मतलब ये तो नहीं है ना कि हमेशा रहेगा. जाएगा, सत्व नीचे जाएगा, लेकिन वापस हमें करना है. अपने आप ये, हाँ, नीचे पीछे YouTube अपने आप चालू हो गया. Some video that I was playing before this, वो ऑन हो गया. बंद कर दिया उसको. वाओ. फल त्याग. और ये ऐसा नहीं है कि इस थिंकिंग के साथ में यू कैन नॉट गेट नेम एंड फेम. You can get, but you don't need to own that name and fame, is what this kind of
desire,
thing is.
yeah, desire only won't be there.
हाँ.
Yeah.
तो यानी कि यदि इस प्रकार का हमारा उद्देश्य होगा तो we will actually reach much further than what these motivational speakers help you to reach. It's limiting in its own way. This is going beyond that.
Yeah.
Wow. I always love this state of clarity that comes with this. I just love this. और कुछ ध्यान आ रहा है? कंपैरिजन. अब तूने जो बात बोली, मैं एक सेंटेंस पढ़ती हूँ इसमें से. But a desireless doer has a moral sense of duty towards his work. बल्कि डिजायर नहीं होगी तो हम काम कर ही नहीं पाएंगे ना. इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. But we cannot understand this unless and until we experience some glimpses of doing something with a sense of duty and without desire. इसलिए कर्मयोग एक्टिविटी होती है. So at least you get a glimpse of what it is. You do it simply because it is your duty. And you do it perfectly well. You are not doing it because you are going to get something out of it. You're doing it because it is your duty, and whatever is your duty, you want to do it perfectly well. Now, this kind of thinking can only come in a sattvic mind. So initially you may, just force yourself to do it. But when you repeat this again and again, the sattva starts increasing. And it starts influencing your way of thinking also.
So how do we apply this in our daily routine? Like we wake up, we do our housework, or we study, or we take a class.
Yeah.
So how do we apply this?
अब एक simple example दूं housework का. Say you have just finished cleaning, or somebody has just immediately walked in and thrown some kachra there. तुमने इतना फर्स्ट क्लास चमचमा के साफ किया था और यहाँ पर वापस किसी ने कचरा डाल दिया. If you have done it कि हाँ मैंने इतना अच्छे से साफ किया, इतना गंदा हो रहा था ये, वो भाव है, तो किसी के कचरा डालने पे तुम्हारे को हर्ट हो जाएगा. लेकिन यदि ये वाला स्वधर्म हम कर रहे हैं, तो that act was your duty and you did it well because that was your duty to do. If your duty is also to keep it clean all the time, you simply go and do it again. In fact, it's an opportunity to do that duty again. And not a hurt कि किसी ने गंदा कर दिया. That will be the difference. So the difference is here.
The same thing with even when I'm taking asana class, like I do take asana classes. So sometimes it happens like most of the students, they are not turning up because now festival season is going on and something or the else is there. So many are not turning up. Sometimes classes are even getting cancelled and all. So yeah, so that time also I don't have to get disturbed or anything. I have to, like, it's okay. If they come, I do take a class. And if they don't come, I would invest that time into something else.
There's no reaction to it.
Hmm.
एक तूने phrase use किया, I don't have to
Get disturbed about it, that they're not coming.
So
Yeah.
it's not you don't have to get disturbed. You have to know that whether you are getting disturbed. If you're getting disturbed, know it, that you are in Rajas Pradhan. समझी? So don't have to, तो suppression हो जाएगा. और जितना suppress करेगी उतना वो वापस उठ के आएगा. Sublimation. So it's not about not to get disturbed. Just watch yourself. If you find that yes, it's disturbing you, then know it that you are in Rajas Pradhan and you must do something, whatever is your thing that helps you to get into Sattva.
Okay.
So go to Sattva. और जैसे ही तुम सत्व में आओगे, your response to this situation will be fine. भगवान ने और कुछ काम करने के लिए मौका दिया है, let me do that. You will not even have to think कि हाँ उनका ये हुआ होगा, वो हुआ होगा. That thinking is still Rajas Pradhan.
Right.
And to justify. And kind of telling your Rajasic self not to get hurt. तो वो सत्व रजस को कैसे समझा रहा है, लेकिन सत्व प्रधान नहीं हुआ है. सत्व प्रधान तो तब होगा जब hey, an opportunity to do this work, ये एक मेरे को करना था, टाइम नहीं मिल रहा था, आज मिल गया. That is your instant thought. That means your sattva is pradhan.
Yeah, so sometimes I feel like I should have text and ask them why didn't they turn up for the class and what happened then. But then many a times I have seen that I don't message them or anything. Then they only will, their message would come that, sorry, we could not attend and all, like, kind of. And even if it doesn't come, some are even like they tend to forget. They will not even message or anything like. So then I'm okay with it. Again, they do turn up in the one or two class later, and so I'm like, fine, I don't question them anymore now. So yeah.
Now, another point here.
Because it is their swadharma, no? It is not my swadharma to keep a check and
it is your swadharma
if
you have accepted, you have started this class for what purpose? What is the purpose of you teaching this class? That will decide.
Okay.
If the purpose of teaching, like I started this class on reading this book, it of course, actually speaking, only for that one girl, Yogita. But then yes, if more can benefit out of it, why not? So my purpose is to help as many people to think, to at least get initiated to this thinking.
Right.
That I find is so beautifully possible through this book. Because this is finally going to be the highest thing that we human beings are possible to reach and capable of. The rightful use of the body and the life. So if that is my purpose, what would be the rightful action when people attend or when people don't attend? Not all of them have I called. Some have come on their own. Some have come by being prompted by some others. Right? And not all of them know my purpose.
Yeah.
So if I am interested in spreading this to maximum number of people, then I should take interest in all of them. Like before we started reading, I was going through the names of all those in the group. And I last time also नहीं last time का तो recording किया था. उसके पहले वाला recording में जब मैं भूल गई थी, तो I was actually feeling responsible. There are some who said that we will see the recording later on, लेकिन recording तो आज है ही नहीं. तो मैंने कहा जो हम discuss करके एक जो gist निकालते हैं और उस दिन के लिए कुछ carry home for the next week हम करते हैं. So it is important for me to share this with everybody. Though I did not follow up and see how many of them really made use of it. Except for 1 or 2 people, nobody even reacted to that post. So I have to make note that, okay, my effort needs to be, is not yet, it's not reaching the necessary perfection, because my aim and purpose is to reach out to more people. So it is still Rajsik, it is still not Sattvic. To reaching out to other people, this body is transient. I'm only trying to reach out to other people who are also transient. Right? Lekin us transient ke through, if it goes deep into somebody, it will reach that self, no? So at least penetrate to karna chahiye na. What is my gain in that? I am a born teacher. I learn when I teach others. So I want you all to learn for my sake. No. So my purpose, if I am not perfecting to reach, the purpose, my purpose for starting the class is what I should fulfill. And for that, whatever need to be done, when I was looking at the list, I was thinking, Acha, theek hai, some of these people, I should ring up and talk to them. Therefore, I wanted to know, कि अच्छा कोई किसी को मैं यूं ही फोन कर दूं, who may not have ever attended the class and still doesn't know me. इसलिए मैं पूछ रही थी.
So, ma'am, like, of course, that would be really nice at your part to do that. But isn't there should be a boundary to the Swadharma, like, because you're going really an extra mile. And if those people don't have that kind of an inclination,
so then
what is the point? Why should we even do that? That is my
okay,
question. Why should we do that?
Because if they are not meant for this kind of a thinking, and they're not ready for it, so they are not serving any purpose of their own, nor mine. If you were not going to think and talk like this, my purpose would not be fulfilled by just doing the class one-on-one. Got it? But because you are interested in this line, yes, talking to you fulfills my purpose also. And if you are benefited, that is what my purpose is.
So shouldn't we just like let it be? If they want to come, they will come.
Or
Or
राजसिक हो गया, वो राजा तामसिक हो गया.
अच्छा.
है ना? अभी आपने पढ़ा ना, देख तामसिक वाला क्या पढ़ा? I'll read that तामसिक वाला line again. Page 37, yes, top paragraph में. Tamas says, if I am not going to enjoy the fruit, I shall not act at all. Are you getting the point? जाने दो, नहीं करे तो नहीं करे. तो यानी मैं मेरा ही पर्पस नहीं फुलफिल कर रही हूँ. I am not clear about the purpose for which I am doing this activity. और रियली स्पीकिंग तू भी नहीं आती तो भी मैं बैठ के गीता यही टॉक्स ऑन द गीता पढ़ती 1 घंटा. Because for me this time is for reading talks on the Gita. So that's my Swadharma. Reading it with you.
Yeah, so
reading it by myself.
Yeah, so even to understand like what is your purpose or what is the Swadharma. So first to have the clarity of that, then the application part comes where we put it
Very
into
true.
Sattva, Rajas or Tamas. But
Yes.
first to understand what the Swadharma is.
नो स्वधर्म तो अभी तक नहीं आया. मैं बोलती हूँ ना, अभी भी जो यहाँ स्वधर्म कहा है, टू रीच दैट आई प्रोबेबली जस्ट उसको टच करके आ गई हूँ. बट आई नो आई वांट टू रीच देयर. I want to very clearly put my all energy into the Swadharma kind of action. I am nowhere near it, but I can see there is still something that is separating me and which is of the Rajas. That's why I told you, though this is my intention, it is still Rajasic. It is still Rajas Pradhan. It is still not become the Sattva Pradhan जो अपन ने अभी लास्ट पैराग्राफ में बात की. So, okay, it may be a shade better than what you are saying, but it is still Rajas. Because it involves trying to get other people. जब दूसरों के ऊपर निर्भर करेगा तो वो रजस ही है. My dependency, if I learn from teaching, this is Rajas Pradhan. है ना? Because I'm dependent on this interaction. For me to become independent of this interaction and to do this activity only, solely, absolutely for the purpose of others, then it will become the kind of duty desireless. वो जो desirelessness की बात की, then it will become desireless. अभी भी desire तो है ना, कि जब प्रियंका क्वेश्चन पूछती है तो मेरे को क्लैरिटी आती है उसका जवाब देने में. क्योंकि क्या होता है, विचार होते हैं, लेकिन विचारों को जब तक व्यक्त न किया जाए, शब्दों में न डाला जाए, वो क्लियर नहीं होते, कॉन्क्रीट नहीं होते. तो विचारों को अब अकेले बैठ के तो बकबक कर नहीं सकती, और वो उससे क्लैरिटी आती नहीं है. एक हो सकता है लिख सकते हैं, थोड़ी क्लैरिटी आती है, लेकिन दूसरे व्यक्ति तक अपनी बात पहुंचा सके तो ज्यादा क्लैरिटी आती है कि सामने वाले को बिल्कुल वैसे के वैसे वो बात समझ में आ गई जैसा तुम्हारे विचार में थी. दैट इज ट्रुथ कम्युनिकेटेड. तो ये मेरा लालच है ना उसमें, तो सात्विक कहाँ से हुआ? ठीक है, सत्व का एलिमेंट कंपैरेटिवली ज्यादा होगा, लेकिन फिर भी है तो रजस प्रधान ही ना. So I have to be aware of that. And therefore level gauging is very important. कि रजस का लेवल है लेकिन कम होता जा रहा है, ये सत्व बढ़ रहा है. और हर एक एक्टिविटी, तुम जितनी एक्टिविटी के ऊपर इसको लगा सकोगे, जितने भी अपने डिसीजन इस ढंग से ले सकोगे, उतनी बार तुम्हारे सत्व को बल मिलेगा. So watch yourself, and it is very interesting to do this. Very, very interesting to watch yourself, how Sattva Rajas Tamas is playing up. And you must identify what are your routines, what are those activities that make you Sattva Pradhan. और फोर्स करके तो ज्यादा नहीं होगा, थोड़ा चैलेंज जरूर करना चाहिए, मैनेजेबल. Wow. I hope this helps you.
Yeah, ma'am, definitely. No, it did give me clarity as I got an opportunity to share also that I do it this thing in my class. So now at least if I have to approach this thought which I came, if I have to approach it from a sattva point of view, I can just drop a message to them that, hope to see you in the next class, or hope you're doing fine, or something like that. Yeah.
Something,
So my
something that will
Satva,
make them listen.
yeah, a little probe. So my duty is done. Now further then it is their duty. So at least I have done my duty totally to its fullest, the way it has been mentioned that we have to do it to our fullest. So yeah, somewhere if I was thinking, oh, why should I message or why should
No,
I
because it's
bother?
your
It's
duty
it is
towards
their
your
duty.
own self.
Yeah, yeah.
क्योंकि
So I
तुम्हारा
shouldn't be
purpose
thinking
fulfill
like
नहीं
that.
हो रहा है ना,
Yeah. So yes, yes, yes. True,
कि नहीं?
true. Yeah. Yes, yes.
Doctor used to often repeat this incident. I forget which of the sant. I think Narsi Mehta only, or no, not Narsi Mehta. कुम्हार, गोरा कुम्हार की बात है, नहीं नरसी मेहता. उनको आके किसी ने बताया कि उनकी शादी, वो सगाई जो की थी वो टूट गई. वो उस समय जो काम कर रहे थे वो छोड़ के नाचने लगे, भलू थयू भांगी गयू, भलू थयू भांगी गयू, क्योंकि उनको वो बंधन लग रहा था. यानी उनका मोटिव इतना क्लियर है कि उनको ईश्वर रत रहना है, तो ईश्वर रत से वो उनको संसारिक कर्मों में जो बांध रहा है, भलू थयू भांगी गयू. यानी कोई तो उसको लगा कि दुखी होएगा तो जाके उसको सपोर्ट करेंगे, तो नाच रहा है. So people who are that kind of oriented in the material world may be termed as pagal, mad.
Yeah.
Yes. So doctor would always say that maintain that balance. At the physical level, material level, because you can't do without this body. You need this body even for your spiritual progress. So whatever is needed at the physical level, behave in that manner externally. But keep your focus over there. And for that, the example you would give is of that lady who dancing with the 7 pots on the head. She never loses attention from the balancing those pots. And she may be maneuvering her body in so many different ways. So maintain your attention there. And do all this that is required, so that you are not hurting others. क्योंकि जब लोग तुम्हें पागल कहते हैं, actually they are also hurt. So that's not a very nice thing to do. You may not care for it, that's okay. But then not caring is also hurting, no? So then you are being party to hurting. ऐसा है. बहुत subtle sometimes. चल 4 बज गए. हाँ. Nice. Thank you. Good. You said yes. We will continue, even if it's just 2 of us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. See you.